The following program is sponsored by Happy Science.
Hello, and thank you for accepting our invitation to happiness. Ryuho Okawa is a global visionary, renowned spiritual leader, and international best-selling author. With his deep spiritual insight, wisdom, and compassion, Okawa is committed to guide people to true happiness and create a better world. To accomplish this, he founded Happy Science Group in Japan in 1986, which is now a global movement in over 100 countries. His vision and message to the world goes beyond the differences of race and language. Together, throughout this program, we'll be exploring ways to attain true happiness from a spiritual perspective and how you can create a better world starting from within. Today's topic is on overcoming religious conflict, which is one of the most important missions of Happy Science. This is an issue that continues to cause major conflict and confusion in our world. What are the fundamental issues and how can we overcome them with peace for all? Before we get started, let's ask the streets of New York, how would you resolve religious conflict?
I would try and communicate in some universal way, and that's what I don't know if there's a way to universally communicate that religion is not violence, religion is love, and that at the end of the day, religion is all pointing towards the same thing, which is to love yourself and to love the others around you and to spread peace.
It's all about respect. All jokes aside, it's all about respect. And, considering other people's ideas and, learning how to, they may be different from yours, but, just come to, what's that word I'm looking for mutual ground. It's all about that.
I think religious conflict, we have to acknowledge that it's never going to be the same. It's never going to be a unified God or spirit or whatever. And we have to accept all of the different ones and enjoy them and make the most of the diversity of beliefs.
How about you? How would you resolve religious conflict? Let's hear from Okawa.
The power of mercy is the fundamental light that comes from God and Buddha. And many religions speak of it. And yet, many bloody acts of terrorism and war involving religions break out. This fills me with a great deal of sadness. Right now, Europe, especially France, is outraged by the attacks from extremists in the Islamic world. On the flip side, air bombings by the West on the Islamic State are gaining intensity. On seeing this, I am overwhelmed by sadness too deep for words. I have no words. I understand that both sides have their own reasons to attack. But I feel so sad to see that those with different views can hardly come to a mutual understanding. Why have Christianity and Islam been at odds for more than 1,000 years? In the late medieval period, Islam penetrated into Europe, and the Holy Roman Empire came very close to a collapse. It was in an era in which Christianity was in a very precarious position. It was a time when all of Europe could have been converted to Islam. After that, however, Christian nations regained power, along with the rise of Protestantism and the Industrial Revolution. And if things continue to proceed as they are now, it could possibly lead to the destruction of Islamic countries. We can see that we are now faced with some major questions. Will new innovations occur in the near future? Will God bestow new power? how will our civilization change? For example, according to the teachings of Islam, idol worship is considered wrong. In ancient Judaism as well, Moses gave teachings that also stated that idol worship was wrong. This idea originated from the idea that God is different from humans. Since God is an incomparably great being, if God is expressed in the form of an idol, people may mistakenly believe that this is how God truly is. They may start to think that God and humans are on equal footing. They might start to think that God is basically the same as humans. Thus, one should have faith in God without expressing Him in that sort of form. Feeling awe toward power that are not of this world is an extremely important part of religion. However, people are getting the wrong idea if they are making this too much of a formality and harboring the desire to destroy all representational objects. It is only natural that as time passes, people would want to not only imagine in their mind what they revere, but to actually see it with their own eyes and feel it. Thus, what was not sufficiently made clear when the original teaching appeared can be a source of future calamity, leading people to reject other religions or to eliminate from this earth anything that is different. This is extremely sad. The narrow-mindedness of human beings is what we should lament the most. In the teachings of Happy Science, integration of all religions is one of our major concepts. This has been our aim from the very beginning of our foundation. In my book, The Laws of the Sun, as well, I clearly state that Buddhism, Christianity, and other religions actually stem from one fundamental source. I wrote, people need to know that all religions and its teachings originate from one fundamental source. So rather than emphasizing the differences and fighting over them, we should know, understand, and trust each other more, and create a new utopia. I am now trying to fill in these large gaps between world religions. I am also trying to unveil God's or Buddha's intentions toward all human activities, including academic studies and ways of thinking. I've started talking about the differences between various races and about the existence of extraterrestrial life forms, different from human beings. To be more accurate, I am saying that sometimes differences in people's race, religion, and culture are due to the differences of their home planets. Based on an understanding that differences exist, we are all born as contemporaries into this soul training ground, Earth, where we try to create new lifestyle patterns, civilizations, cultures, philosophies, and ways of thinking, while surviving in the midst of various environments. A variety of souls come to Earth to try to establish righteous ways of thinking and to live as Earthlings. They come to figure out and form righteous value systems, morals, and religion on the Earth. This is not done to cause confusion among humanity. Instead, it is to urge people to awaken to a new potential by recognizing the differences among us. By knowing the differences, we can realize that we still have room to change. There are indeed differences in each religion, but that should not lead people to destroy all other religions. Instead, when people find elements in other religions that do not exist in their own, they should analyze what those elements are and work to innovate their religion to enhance its power to improve humanity. It is not as though everything was created perfectly out of a uniform mold from the very beginning. Humans were not created all uniformly in a robot factory. Accepting these differences and understanding other people are also one aspect of love. When people cannot love someone, it is because they cannot understand that person. When they come to understand the other person, they come to love him or her. Because people cannot understand each other, they hate, attack, and exclude each other. And as a result, the chain of hateful acts never end. Do not think it a matter of course that this chain of hatred never ends. We must not extend the chain of hatred. Rather, once we have realized how much we do not understand the way others think, we should move forward toward mutual understanding, even if it takes only one step at a time. Happy Science was not created to bring confusion or chaos to this world. It was established to explain the existing differences, to help people understand each other, and to live in harmony, thereby creating a great new utopia. I have done my 2,400th lecture in this year. We will hold a publishing commemoration assembly for my 2000th book, The Laws of Justice. I understand that 2,000 books sound like a massive number. But this means that right now, threads of salvation are continuously provided toward all sorts of people.
The underlying truth is that all religions come from one source. We need to abandon narrow-mindedness and establish a macro perspective. We need to awaken to new potential as a whole by accepting and understanding the differences in other religions. All of us, regardless of religious background, are created equally by God's love, which is in other words called mercy, and innately carry this same essence called mercy deep within our hearts. Instead of identifying and rejecting differences, it is our duty as fellow children of God to respect and embrace each other with love. Let's hear more from Okawa.
Despite being on the same planet Earth, if our home country of nationality is different, or if the religion or political system of our country is different, we could be brought up to assimilate ways of thinking that are different from our original ways after several decades. For this reason, some choose to be reborn into different countries. I have given many teachings on these secrets of reincarnation. However, reincarnation is not clearly taught in the Bible. So people with Christian backgrounds sometimes reject the teachings of reincarnation and say that it is heresy or something that they should not believe in. This happens because there are missing pieces in what they have been taught. Actually, it is merely that Jesus' teachings on reincarnation have not really been passed down enough to the current day. However, modern clerics cannot accept this concept, so when they hear the teachings of reincarnation, they quickly assume that such teachings are heretical and wrong. They compare those teachings with past religions that were eradicated through heresy trials. It is fine to have different arguments. However, we need to create a framework that is generous enough to encompass them all. Currently, my books are being published in many different languages. This is a very important thing. In the end, there is a question common to all people. Since no one can escape death, it is extremely important to know what death is. Or in other words, what happens when we leave this world. Knowing this sooner has a great influence on how we live the rest of our lives. However, other than families, co-workers, friends, and acquaintances in this world, the majority of people do not know anyone in the other world. So they want to remain in this world even after death. This gives rise to various troubles and sufferings. When people who have absolutely no knowledge of the spiritual world die, they only know to linger around their families. So their souls wander around in their home. or they might visit their friends, grandfathers, and grandmothers, or might appear around their co-workers. These souls may remain for years or decades in these areas. It wouldn't be a problem if the priest conducting the funeral or memorial service knew the truth. If a priest can accurately explain the afterlife to the soul of the dead or to the person's family members and relatives, and can send this soul to heaven, then the deceased can be saved. However, priests of today do not have this ability. Some priests, both in Buddhism and Christianity, evade discussions of the other world and try to resolve things only by talking about things of this world. But we must tell those priests that they shouldn't evade such talks, and that is not professional. If they cannot answer questions such as, what happens when people die? What exactly are God and Buddha doing? Then they are not qualified as religious professionals. To help people's souls return straight to where they are supposed to go, it is first essential for them to learn and understand the truth while they are still alive in this world. If that is not possible, the truth should be taught to people who are alive now, which is the bereaved family members, relatives, friends, and others, thereby indirectly communicating the knowledge of the truth to the deceased soul. That is a true memorial service which will serve to truly console their souls. If people who live materialistically or hedonistically without knowing the truth were to suddenly lose their lives by natural disaster or accident, they would have no idea what and where they are, what they should do, and what people are doing around them. However, one should not end up like this. This is something that infringes upon human dignity, upon the dignity of the soul. In fact, knowing who you are, knowing how you should live, and furthermore, knowing what you should do after you die are part of what it is to be human, a part of the human condition. The theme of this lecture is the power of mercy. But what is mercy? It is the heart that can accept and understand the sadness other people hold in their hearts. It is the desire to help others ease their sadness. If you have a heart of mercy, it means that you already have a head start as a human being. Conversely, if you cannot comprehend this heart of mercy, then you are basically living in a dog-eat-dog animalistic world, or a realm in which people are killed daily, similar to what is currently occurring in the desert regions of the Middle East. That is exactly the same as a realm in hell called Asura. And if you cannot comprehend the heart of mercy, you will return to that kind of world after you die. Nevertheless, to end up in a world ruled by fear, or a world ruled by the law of the jungle after death, is not a desirable result for humans. It is true that there is competition in this world. Depending on the way you look at it, a competitive world may appear like a brutal, animalistic world. However, there is more to a human being than simply aiming to win and survive, increasing monetary gain, or having an easy life at the cost of other people or other companies. In that sense, our world is not the same as the world of animals. You must have a heart of mercy. That will create a world where everyone can help and nurture each other. Competing just for the sake of competition is wrong. One aspect of competition is that it promotes mutual improvement. If you stay idle and neglect to improve yourself, you are letting down your parents and forgetting the reason you were born. Do not let your life and your parents' effort go to waste. Instead, strive to study hard and do good work. Aim to be a respectable person who can contribute to society and who can support those in need of help. For this purpose, it is essential to learn a variety of things through friendly rivalry. What people want the most are right teachings. What are human beings? Where did we come from and where do we go? What is death? What happens when we die? If there is suffering after death, how can we be saved from it? What can I do to become a wonderful being who can lead people after I die? Teachings that can answer these fundamental questions are needed now in Japan and across the entire globe. I want the laws and the teachings to reach as many people as possible. I want the heart of love to reach as many people as possible. This concrete action is the very power of mercy. I want all of you to awaken to this power of mercy dormant within you. Many people are waiting for the truth. I pray from the bottom of my heart that the light of love will reach all people throughout Japan and the world. Thank you very much.
Let's hear more from Okawa about the meaning of mercy in English.
There are a lot of religions in the world, and each of religion have wars between them. So it is my main aim to overcome this barrier between the religions. All the religions comes from one origin. It's already said in Quran by Muhammad, and he said, the one God sent Abraham, Noah, Moses, Jesus Christ, and these are messengers of God. I love Islamic people. I love Buddhist people. I love Christian people. I love other people of all religions, all nations. I love the people who believe in me, and I also love the people who don't believe me. This is a mercy. This is a mercy which nourished human beings from the beginning. And I dare say, each of you are equal in the bottom of heart. You all have the diamond of God. We are one. The world is one. We are living in the age of mercy. Mercy is a different name of God. Mercy means God stands by you every day. In what case comfort made, God is with you. When God is with you, nothing can defeat you. You overcome everything. You are invincible being.
Mercy is to understand the sorrow of our fellow human beings through understanding God's viewpoint. Through God's great mercy, He allows us to reincarnate in different eras, countries, and even different genders for soul experience and to awaken to mercy within us. God, the creator of our souls, is a merciful and compassionate supreme being. God does not judge His children, so neither should we. He believes in our innate power of choosing good over evil. As God's children, we, human beings, must overcome our differences and choose unity over division, love over hatred. Please believe that no matter which religion you practice, God loves each one of us. We need to strive to develop a higher macro perspective and rejoice in the equal divinity in one another and respect each other as fellow citizens of this beautiful planet of love, Earth. Today's lectures are included in the books The Laws of Mission, The Laws of Justice, and The Laws of the Sun. You can purchase your copy from major bookstores, including Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, or at Happy Science, where you can also listen to many other lectures related to today's topic. For more information, please contact a Happy Science location near you.
If you'd like to learn more about Okawa and the teachings of Happy Science, visit invitationtohappiness.org or call us at 1-800-710-7777.
Once again, thank you for accepting our invitation to happiness. Join us next week for the topic, the spiritual truth behind abortion, brain death, and suicide. What happens to these souls? See you next time.
Awaken to a new level of spirituality today. The laws of mission. Essential truths for a spiritual awakening in a secular age.
I recommend the laws of mission to each and every seeker. It was so powerful because in my religious path, I've always been centered on my enlightenment. And what the laws of mission has brought me to do and to look at is expanding that enlightenment, expanding that vision of helping others to become enlightened. And I feel like I have a lot to share in that regard, in terms of sharing all that I feel in my heart with others. And Master's books have been so profound. The author has given me so much material to work with to be able to share the truth with others. And the laws of mission is a very strong calling towards that level of enlightenment. Not just your personal enlightenment, but the enlightenment of other humans on earth.
The preceding program was sponsored by Happy Science.